It appears to be that time again to remind people exactly who I am and who they're fucking with when they watch my content. This happened on a YouTube video. Somebody posted on the video that I made saying to vote for Jamal Bowman in this primary and against APAC, and they wrote, "You've lost all credibility." According to who? And what credibility did you think I had to begin with that I lost? Because I never said that I didn't think voting was important. Since the moment I started making content, I've said voting was important. I often say that voting is not the end-all be-all, that it's just one tool in the toolbox that we have to fight. But it is a tool that we should use, especially since the opposition always does. And I also say that, yes, I acknowledge and agree that our system is incredibly corrupt. Incredibly corrupt. The whole thing is rotten from top to bottom. But in the interim, while we try to either figure out what we're going to do about that or fight it, we don't need to make it worse. And making it worse would be to allow APAC, this foreign evil lobbying organization, to continue to take out lawmakers that dare criticize the Israeli regime, that dare criticize what they're doing in the genocide in Gaza. And that's exactly what George Latimer winning will do. He is a fully funded APAC hack, and the only reason why they're going after Bowman is because he called for a ceasefire. So not only would it be materially worse for people for George Latimer to win, it would send a horrible message to everyone. It'll send a message to every lawmaker and prospective lawmaker in Congress. If you don't want them to come after you, don't you dare criticize Israel. Don't you dare criticize APAC, or else we will take you out just like we did with Jamal Bowman. That is the message that is going to be sent. And I hear a lot of people say, we have to dismantle APAC. We have to take away APAC's influence. How do you think that's done? Just screaming about it? So again, I never said that I didn't believe in voting. So I don't need you to tell me what credibility I do or do not have, because I do believe in voting. Unlike a lot of leftists that think that the solution to everything is to just sit around and complain, because that's what so many do. And then they're like, oh yeah, wait till I don't vote, as if Democrats and right-wingers are going to be like, oh no, please do. I don't identify myself as a full-on leftist for that reason, because oftentimes the left are fucking useless and don't actually care about attaining real power. They care oftentimes about virtue signaling and looking virtuous rather than being virtuous. And in case it's unclear, it's in my bio how I really identify. I don't identify myself as like a full-on leftist because, again, leftists drive me fucking crazy so much of the time. But I do say lefty because that's where I tend to lean. In the same way that I am a Christian, and a lot of people that are on that side are not Christians. If you have a problem with that, then you would never like my content. You would never like my content because I'm not always going to say what you want me to say. I'm not always going to agree with what you think I should agree with being someone on the left. No, what ruins credibility is pandering to your audience all the time and telling them exactly what they want to hear. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say what I mean and what I believe is right, whether it's Zionists coming after me for it or whether it's the so-called left coming after me for it. I don't have to be a huge fan of Jamal Bowman or any of our Congress members for that matter to understand that fascist, racist clown taking that seat, that APAC shill, is going to be worse. And again, will be a message to APAC and to everyone else that they are the kingmakers and the ones who make the decisions rather than the voters. And you implying that it's somehow more virtuous to just sit around and not participate, that in and of itself is a virtue, you would be mistaken. And if you want people to pander to that view, then go to their channels. I now am going to go vote in my primary in New York. There are other primaries happening throughout the country, and I suggest that if you are a voter in one of those states that you go and vote too. To the rest of my fam, I love you, and I'll see you Thursday.